feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody...
The song he never finished, how Taehyung guarded Jungkook's broken melody. In the theater of K-pop, where every breath is choreographed and every heartbeat timed to the rhythm of applause, there exists a song that the world was never meant to hear. A song written not for the stage nor for millions but for one soul only. That song belonged to Jungkook. And the only man who knew its weight was Taehyung. The Forgotten Notebook. It began not with microphones or stadium lights but with silence. One winter night, Taehyung stumbled into Jungkook's dimly lit studio. The air trembled faintly with the ghost of a melody, half-formed notes that stopped before they became music. On the desk lay a notebook. Not lyrics, not training schedules, just fragmented lines scattered like broken glass. If I sing it, the world will know. If I keep it, I will break. Tell me, where can a heart hide, when even silence betrays it? Taehyung froze. He didn't turn the page. He didn't dare. Because he already understood, this wasn't for army nor for fame. It was for someone who would never hear. And from that night, the silence between him and Jungkook grew heavier than any song. The piano that refused to sing. Weeks later, Jungkook sat before a grand piano, fingers pressing down on hesitant keys. Notes swelled, then fell apart before they could become melody. "Hyung," he whispered, eyes lowered. "What if I sang a song I could never finish?" Taehyung's chest tightened. He wanted to tell him, then let it remain unfinished. Not every song needs an ending. But instead he stayed quiet. And in that quiet, Jungkook began to play again, as though Taehyung's silence was the only permission he needed to keep going. The Weaver's Confession. One night, army across the globe saw a different Jungkook. Hood pulled low, voice trembling, he said to the camera, "I want to be honest. I need to let this out." Millions thought he was speaking to them, pouring his heart for the fandom. They wept, believing his words belonged to the world. But Taehyung, sitting unseen in the same room, knew otherwise. Jungkook wasn't confessing to millions. He was speaking to one. To the ghost of a name he would never say aloud. And Taehyung's tear was the first to fall, silent, invisible, but heavier than any scream. The empty microphone. At Jungkook's solo stage, fans noticed something strange, a second microphone on the stand, untouched, never used. They thought it was a symbol for army, a poetic gesture for togetherness. But it wasn't. It was Taehyung's idea. "Leave it there," he had whispered to the staff. "Not for us. Not for them. For the voice he can't sing to. For the song that will never be finished." Every night, as Jungkook's voice cracked on Still With You, Taehyung's gaze drifted to that empty mic. Because he knew he had once heard the melody that was meant for it. The sky that listened. When army released thousands of blue lanterns into the night sky, Jungkook appeared among them, holding a folded sheet of paper. He didn't release it. He couldn't. Beside him, Taehyung stood masked and silent, blending into the crowd. His role wasn't to be seen, it was to witness. And as lanterns floated upward, Jungkook clutched the paper tighter. He wasn't holding lyrics. He was holding memory. A melody too raw to leave, too sacred to share. The Exhibition of Shadows. At Jungkook's art exhibition, fans marveled at unfinished recordings and scribbled verses. But there was one room different from the rest. A small dark chamber where only a single line glowed on the wall. "Have you ever sung to someone who could never listen?" Fans wept, touched by the poetry. But Taehyung stood frozen. Because he knew that was no exhibition line. That was the very question Jungkook had once whispered to him, long ago in the quiet of a practice room. The keeper of the unfinished song. History will remember Jungkook as the golden voice of a generation, the idol who turned pain into symphonies. But history will never know the song he left unfinished, the melody folded away in silence. Except for Taehyung. Because he was there the night silence sang louder than music. He was there the night a boy asked, "What if I never finish it?" He was there the night love became too heavy for words. And maybe that was love too, not the love of stage lights or applause, but the love of carrying what another could not. Epilogue. Every encore ends the same way. Jungkook bows, fans scream, lights explode. But somewhere on stage sits an untouched microphone, a symbol no one fully understands. Fans see emptiness. Taehyung sees memory. He sees the boy with trembling hands, the unsung melody, the weight of a truth too fragile for the world. And he knows, the song may never be finished, the words may never be spoken, but silence too has its own eternity. For some love stories are not written in lyrics. They are written in pauses. In empty microphones. In the quiet presence of someone who stays. And in the end Taehyung remains, not as the beloved, not as the singer, but as the keeper. The keeper of Jungkook's unfinished song. In the end, the world will continue to hear Jungkook's voice. His songs will echo at weddings, in lonely bedrooms, on endless night drives. His voice will be remembered as the sound of love, of hope, of heartbreak. Yet only Taehyung knows, behind every note, there lies one song left unfinished. That song doesn't belong to ARMY or to history. It belongs to someone who never arrived, and to a friend who chose silence. And in that silence, Taehyung became the guardian, not of the stage, not of the fame, but of a truth too fragile to survive the light. Sometimes he wonders if he should have told Jungkook to finish it. Would the melody have freed him, or would it have shattered under its own weight? Each time, Taehyung chooses silence. Because silence too can be an answer. While the world cheers, Taehyung notices the tremor in Jungkook's shoulders when his voice cracks, the way his eyes search for an empty chair or an untouched microphone. He knows the song is still there, echoing in spaces no one else can see. Life as an idol moves forward. New concerts, new albums, bigger stages. But in Jungkook's heart, there will always remain one unfilled space, an eternal emptiness, like the vacant seat on stage, the silent mic, the melody that halts before it begins. And that is where Taehyung stands. Not to fill the space. Not to replace anyone. But to guard it. As if whispering, let it stay empty. Let it remain untouched. Because in that emptiness your truth endures. Many believe love means possession. But Taehyung has learned that love can also mean protection. He does not own the song. He has never heard its ending. But with every silence he keeps, he ensures it is never erased. Perhaps that is their fate. Jungkook, the singer who turns wounds into melody. And Taehyung, the witness who makes sure those wounds are not forgotten by time. One sings for the world. The other stays quiet, protecting the world within him. Time will pass. New fans will arrive. Old concerts will fade. History will remember fragments. But history cannot capture the glances, the unspoken questions, the silence between two souls who carried what words could not. And when the stage lights dim for the final time, when cheers dissolve into stillness, one thing will remain, the song that was never finished. A song that belongs not to millions, but to two hearts, the boy who could not sing it, and the man who chose to keep it safe. And so, as the curtain falls on this untold love story, we are left with a silence louder than any confession. Jungkook's heart was never truly hidden. It spoke in the way his eyes lingered, in the way his voice softened when Taehyung was near, in the way his every unspoken word seemed to call his name. Taehyung, on the other hand, stood like a witness to a love that could neither be caged nor proclaimed, a love that lived between glances, between pauses, between the spaces the world could never fully understand. This is not just a story of two idols. It is a story of humanity, of vulnerability, of what it means to carry a love that belongs to no one but the two hearts that protect it. The world saw fragments, ARMY pieced together echoes, but only they knew the whole symphony. And perhaps that is how it was always meant to be, not for the world's possession, but for their own quiet eternity. As fans, as witnesses, as dreamers, we carry these fragments too. They remind us that love is not always loud. Sometimes it whispers in the dark, sometimes it hides in laughter, sometimes it appears only when the lights dim and the stage grows quiet. Jungkook and Taehyung may never stand and declare it, but their story has already been written, on stages, in songs, in stolen glances, and in the unshakable belief of those who never stopped listening between the silences. And as this chapter closes, another one waits to unfold. The story of Taekook is not one that ends. It lingers, it evolves, it finds new ways to return to us, like a song that refuses to be forgotten. Perhaps the next verse is already waiting, hidden in the melodies yet to be sung, in the stages yet to be lit, in the quiet moments that ARMY has not yet seen. Until then, we hold on to this truth. Love is real, love is eternal, and sometimes, love is written not for the world to read, but for the souls who carry it. Thank you for walking through this journey with us, for holding the fragments with care, for believing in what cannot always be seen but is always felt. We'll meet again, not just in the echoes of this story, but in the next one that waits beyond the horizon. Until the next video, carry this love with you and remember, some stories never end, they simply find new ways to return. Sparkles Purple Heart, see you in the next video. Purple Heart Sparkles.
Don't ask questions, shut your lid. I need to run away from this and go get off the grid. Feel like my brain